As a kid, I was obsessed with three distinct things: dinosaurs, cowboys, and space. And I don't mean like I was obsessed with these things until the age of 5. No, this was like until and including middle school. Because I was a weird kid, I would get into these sporadic Wikipedia spirals where I would think of a question, click the first Wikipedia article I saw, read everything I could, and then, when a new question popped into my head, I would keep going. These spouts were foundational to who I am and the wealth of useless knowledge that I now know. One night, I remember thinking to myself, who even makes rocket ships? And I remember discovering the world of aerospace engineering. Little did I know, this was the precipice for my entire career in engineering in the aerospace industry. I continued into my deep dive of what an aerospace engineer was, and then what engineering was, and then what they did, and then what it took to become one. Being nerdy, I was already good at math and science, and I was passionate about building things. So naturally, I decided at the ripe age of 12 that I was going to become an aerospace engineer. Side note, it also sounded pretty enticing to me to be able to use the phrase, "it isn't rocket science," and actually know what rocket science was like. When high school came, I dedicated my elective credits towards STEM courses, taking Python programming, AP statistics, AP calc, and robotics. All throughout this process, I had the burning thought in the back of my mind, I'm going to be an engineer that works on stuff that goes into space. When college came, the objective was unchanged. I took the initiative to join AIAA, Propulsive Landing Division at my school, and try Formula SAE. Doing this helped me get my first aerospace engineering internship, where I learned the very basics of manufacturing. Eventually, as with all aerospace aspiring engineers, I lost the plot. All my friends started talking about getting internships with impressive companies like Pratt& Whitney, Lockheed Martin, and Collins Aerospace. While I was working at a secondary supplier, they were getting exciting opportunities to work at recognized brands which brought status and prestige. When I told people where I worked, they looked at me confused and said, I've never heard of that place before. But when I said, I make parts for Pratt, they'd be like, oh wow, that's such a cool opportunity. The point was that I began to get self conscious of where I worked, what environment and people I was being exposed to, and more importantly, I questioned my whole mission going into engineering. I started to design a future for myself that was comfortable aspiring to one of these places. And while I do appreciate the technology that they create at places like Pratt, Collins, and Lockheed, it was never my main calling. Lots of people, including my friends and my family, repeatedly said that those places were cooler and better, and that's where I needed to be. But internally, I was heavily conflicted. It wasn't until the very end of my senior year of college where I snapped out of it. I asked myself one very simple question: where do I see myself in 10 years? My initial answer frightened me more than anything and went as follows. I would be working at one of these big OEMs as an engineering project manager, living in the same state, and maybe getting into real estate because that's what everyone else does when they want to get rich. I realized that I was selling myself short. I was going somewhere just for money, prestige, and status. I realized that those specific places didn't bring me fulfillment. I realized that my dream life was the same as every other blank slate person in undergrad aerospace engineering. And I realized that I was going to work for money rather than do what I intended to go to school for in the first place. Did I really want to get an MBA? Did I really want to live in the same state? Did I really want to give up my 12-year-old dream of being a rocket scientist? The answer was no. Recently, I've been able to see my future self more clearly. I imagine myself living near the action of the space industry. A place like Los Angeles, California, Starbase, Texas, or Cape Canaveral, Florida instantly comes to mind. I see myself working tooth and nail on projects that I care about and that push humanity to its technological limits. I see myself solving technical problems through boots on the ground action. I see myself focusing on automating my investing rather than actively managing and pouring time and effort into real estate when I could be dedicating myself to the art and craft of my passion in engineering. On their own, none of my false dreams are bad. For the right person, they represent a good future, a stable one without risk and one with a steady environment that doesn't change much year to year. But for me, my passion led dream brings excitement. It exhilarates me. It gives me the same feeling that those Wikipedia deep dives, not stopping until my curiosity was fully exhausted. My passion led dream brings adventure and risk, but a calculated one that says, I will live my life to explore what I am capable of in my work, spending money on only the absolute necessities and saving the rest to support myself when things go south. Since this realization, I've learned that not everyone is as neurotic as me. Not everyone has a career that they are passionate about, and that's okay. But if you were like me and your younger self knew that you were destined for something greater, push yourself back on that path. Remind yourself how rare it is, and remember that many have walked the path that you plan to take, regardless of whatever it is. It's okay to pursue passion. It's okay to pursue a challenge. And it's okay to choose fulfillment over money and status. To this day, I refuse to give up on that dream. Every day I go to work, I treat it as an opportunity to learn something new that would make getting into one of these exciting space startups and companies easier. I know this path is not without its challenge, but therein lies the motivation. The beauty is that we live in a time in history that affords us the freedom of knowledge. The internet is at our fingertips, and we just have to continuously uncover the intricacies of the world beyond it. If you have ever wondered where you fit into society, I encourage you to do what I did. Ask yourself who does what you want to do, how to get there, and then go all in. Even if you later learn that it wasn't the right path for you, you will still have a skill set that brings a unique perspective on the world and expands your opportunities. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.